All right, birth control. We need to know, it helps to know which ones work, which ones don't. Get you that information, solidify it, reinforce it. All right, let's see here. How about, let's keep on looking here. Saul, what are some effective birth control forms? What have you, give me one type of birth control you've heard of in your lifetime. A little louder. Plan B. Oh, wow, okay. So Plan B is taken after sex has occurred. Prevents the egg release. Okay, not really a good effective way. If you really want to not become pregnant, Plan B is not the best way. Hence the name. Did they call it Plan A? No, no. They don't want you, oh, if I don't want to get pregnant, I'm just going to keep taking this Plan B. No, the name is a very good name. That's kind of your last, actually it should be Plan Y or Z, you know, like the last thing you try. You try a lot of other things before that. Any others you've heard of, Saul? Because that's kind of a pretty specific one. Not as well known, it seems like. You've never heard of any others? You didn't see that big envelope that I poured out? Were you here for that day? All right. So condoms. Those are pretty effective when used properly and regularly. And they also bonus with a ability to prevent what? STDs. So heck yeah. Raise your hand if you want an STD. Raise your hand. I want chlamydia. I want gonorrhea. I don't see any hands. So I know you guys don't want any STDs, right? No STIs. STI free. Condoms can help achieve that. All right. So condoms. Thank you. Appreciate it. Frank, what's another type of birth control you've heard of? We've talked about. It's in your packet. You don't know? Well, condoms, the male can use. Is there a female version? Yes, so I'm going to put, male and female, the symbols for male and female. What's something else the female can take that you've heard of? Pill, right? Usually we just call it the pill. It's hormone-based, and it prevents the egg release, right? Pretty effective. Pretty darn effective. But you got to take that pill every day. Can people forget? Yes. So there are some other methods that are even more effective because it doesn't rely on having to take a pill every day. And it's actually this right here. Anybody know what this is? Oh, that's good. Yeah, getting your tubes tied, which is sterilization. Is that something you should be thinking about right now? I'm gonna put that down here. It's effective, but not appropriate. I'm gonna say not appropriate would be sterilization. That shouldn't be something you're thinking about right now. Maybe after you have kids, or you are old enough to know that's not your jam. You don't want to have kids, but not right now. Let's think of another. What's another? So that's not sterilization. That has we call it 3 letters. Ooh, so not UTI, but it is a IUD. It's called an IUD, intrauterine device. Because what does uterine refer to? You guys you guys learned the parts of the male-female reproductive system in middle school, right? Okay, so what's the first part of the female reproductive system? What do we call that short tube area, the opening that leads the way? What's that area? It starts with a V, the vagina. And that leads to the next organ, which is the what? The uterus. The outside of the uterus has another term called, starts with a C, cervix. So you got the vagina, you got go through the cervix, that leads you into the uterus. So this goes into the uterus. And it hangs out in the uterus, and it just makes things not very cool for sperm. Sperm don't like this. It makes the sperm go wacky, so the sperm don't work. You can also, instead of Plan B, that's a pill you can take. You can go to the CVS and get that. You can also go to your doctor, and they can go ahead, oh, you had sex yesterday, you want to get pregnant? We can put a IUD into you right now. And if they do that, that will probably prevent the sperm from reaching the egg too. You can do it after, yeah. And there's another drug, I can't remember the name, that's more effective than Plan B, but you have to go to the doctor to get it. Okay, Plan B is nice because can you always get an appointment with your doctor in one day? No, it's not always. You might not even know a doctor have a place you can go, but you can always. Is there a CVS around or a Walgreens or a Rite Aid? Probably. So better doing that than nothing. But if you can get into a clinic, they can do some even more effective things. So the main ones for you guys to consider: condoms, pill, IUD. Those are your effective ones. Remember, pill and IUD don't prevent STIs, right? So you should only use those forms as birth control if what is true about the sex that you're having. What does that mean? You're reasonably assured both people are not infected, which how do you really know? You would have to get tested, right? Okay. If you've never had sex before, that'd also be a way to know. But how do you know if somebody's never had sex before? You don't know. You have to trust them, right? Do people lie about that? I wonder if somebody's lied about if they've ever had sex. Do people lie about sex? All the time, right? It's one of the main things people tend to lie about. And why do people lie about it? Are people just love to lie about stuff? No. Sex is very intimate and personal, right? We don't want everybody to know all of our business about it. So therefore, we might not be totally honest about it, right? Because there's a stigma. For example, if males have a lot of sexual partners, do people look down on them necessarily? Is it the same for if a female has a lot of sexual partners? It's a different dynamic, right? There's a judgment with that, right? Oh, they had a lot of sexual partners. Ooh. Oh, hey, it's just that, what we get fed in our culture, TV, music, and everything. There's a lot of stereotypes and stigmas. Okay, so those are your birth control. What are some types that aren't so good? We want to stay away from, Maya, that people use that might lead or highly likely lead to pregnancy. What's that? So nothing at all. Yeah, totally unprotected. But if people are trying to sort of use a method. So unprotected sex, but what are some things people do? Yeah, pull out. Also called withdrawal. I know you're just playing, Gio, because that's wrong. Only the real ones. What does that mean? But I think I know what you mean by that. But we want to get away from that. See, those are the kind of cultural things, right, we hear about, and we get fed to our mind subconsciously. What's up, Anthony? Okay, all right. So withdrawal, pulling out. There's another one I mentioned too. It was on our list that people will try to avoid getting pregnant by when they have sex. Oh, you know, that came up yesterday. Has somebody told you that you can't get pregnant if you drink alcohol? What? Has somebody said that? Somebody tell you that? Okay, because you mentioned alcohol. Like, alcohol will not prevent pregnancy. Okay? Alcohol has nothing to do with whether or not you get pregnant or not. Okay? But somebody mentioned that too yesterday. All right? No, it's something about the timing of when sex happens. Ovulating, yes. How many days out of the month is a female ovulating? Yeah, well, she ovulates, the egg is released, and then that egg travels into the fallopian tube, and that's where pregnancy can happen, when it's traveling, when it's on that path through the tube. Because it's small enough that the sperm can come into contact and then fertilize it. If it gets out of that tube into the uterus, it's very unlikely any fertilization will happen. It's too big an environment. It's not conducive to meeting up. So it's really around 5 to 7 days out of the month where a woman is most likely to get pregnant if she has unprotected sex. So couples trying to have a kid will make sure to try to have sex on those days, right? To increase the chances. And couples that don't want to get pregnant, they'll avoid having sex, right? So basically a week out of the month, they just won't have sex. So, but in order for that to work, you got to make real sure you know when you're ovulating and you know exactly where your eggs are at. Is that possible all the time? No. You don't know exactly when the cycle is. Cycles can be irregular, so it thusly is not the most safe method, reliable method. Plus, it doesn't prevent, STIs at all, right? So that's called the calendar, or it's called the rhythm method too. So calendar, rhythm method. Okay? Yeah. And remember, sterilization is very effective, yet it's not something you want to do at your age. Okay? All right. Well, let's go ahead and dive into